those for sale?
Campus Connection. Yeah, Dave Cariello, shout out. He would gladly take the business. So you can put that on social media, whatever the heck.
Magnificent, fantastic, right?
Yeah. Mother flipping. Yeah. That's what I tell my mom, at least. She's not pleased. Thanks for being here. To start, just want to acknowledge, today is the celebration of life of Kurt Hester here, and some of our staff's there. Coach Witt, John Melia, Andre, some of those guys were there to support that family and show our appreciation for Kurt. Kurt got here after the 2021 season, and very few people here, I think, remember that, 2021, Tulane was 2-10. All right, everybody thinks it's just been purple skies and butterflies for a long time around here, and Kurt Hester showed up after 2-10, and then all of a sudden, whoa, look what happened. And so an unbelievable strength coach, a great human. During the transition time of my arrival was pivotal in helping us just kind of hold things together, him and Slade Nagel. And really cool experience for us when I took the job, and Kurt and I sat down, and it was apparent he was going to go to Houston with Willie, which I understood why. There was no hard feelings. We were all on the same page. Kurt and Rusty Witt, my strength coach, are friends, and Kurt introduced Witt to the team before he left, which was a cool passing of the baton, if you will. And you cannot overstate the difference Kurt made in so many people's lives and players' lives and coaches' lives, for that matter. Just want to make sure we draw attention to, the life he lived. A great model for all of us. And still his legacy lives on here at Tulane football and quite frankly will forever. So want to hit on that before we even talk about football, because that's a hell of a lot more important. Football is important too. We got a big game this week, FAU at home. Homecoming, quality team, explosive offensively, a pass game that really is a highly impressive output. They run the ball well too, but man, they're one of the top, I think, third in the country right now in passing offense, if I'm not mistaken. And then defensively, they got athletes all over the field. Very talented group. Know a lot of the names. Have recruited some of them. And so we got to work it out for us. We got to be ready to respond and play well at home. So with that, we'll open it up.
You talked about getting pretty. You were gritty, tough. The first half of last game, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what turned? What was the dial? What did you turn on that dial to get it pretty for that first half?
Yeah, I think detailed execution. Our guys across the board, I think, were emotionally ready to play the right way, but the detailed execution was much better. Jake was accurate with the football. Guys were running clean routes, the right depth. Protection was good. Run game was going pretty good at times. So it's amazing when you operate at a really high level, good things happen. When the second half, quite frankly, when things didn't go well, not to take anything away from Memphis, but a lot of it was self-inflicted stuff, a penalty, a missed block. And it's well, that's not detailed execution. And so we've got the ability to perform at a high level offensively, but you have to stay on schedule. You got to stay consistent. And we did that in the first half. Obviously, the first play was more than stay on schedule. A touchdown play one's pretty nice, but just a lot better execution. And I think the guys were humbled the week before, and when you get humbled like we got humbled, you kind of have to recalibrate and search your soul a little bit for hey, what are we going to be about? How are we going to operate here? So,
your quarterback will be coming in later on, has been recognized 3 times this week by 3 different organizations. Can you just tell us a little bit about what Jake Resloff has brought to this team?
Yeah, he's a good football player. He's got competitive character. He loves putting the ball down and playing. He's got a little backyard football player in him. Some guys grew up playing their video game all day, and some guys went outside and played sports. I think Jake went outside and played sports. I'm not knocking video games. I'm fine with video games, but he's just a backyard football player, and he's got a little moxie about him. He's got some grit and some toughness. Got a little boo-boo in the game, had to go to the injury tent for a couple seconds, came back out, and brought it all night. So he's just a tough dude. That quarterback room, I've said it all year, him, Sully, the whole room, man, has a great makeup. I love that room. It's a great group of guys to just be around daily. And Jake has made a tremendous impact on this football team. And just very grateful for his response to maybe wasn't a good week for him the week before. But he didn't sulk, he didn't pout, he didn't whine or complain. He just picked himself up and moved on.
Coach, of course, rat poison is going to always be the thing, but limiting distractions going into the week, homecoming, and then you're playing a team that's 500 in conference play, but under, just not playing down to your opponent. What does that look like this week?
Well, I'd say the parity in this league is real. I think the separation from whether you look at the top of the standings to the bottom, I think everybody's kind of more alike than different. I think this is a league where anybody can beat anybody any week. And if you're not prepared, you're going to get exposed. You're going to get humbled. And I don't know. I don't really I try to just make sure our guys are staying. It's about preparing the right way and playing the right way and doing your job at an elite level. And, if anything, I think the homecoming, the crowd should give our guys a little extra juice. I think our guys have played well when it's been, you look back to the Duke game, I think the environment was electric. I think our guys will be just excited to have a full stadium. That makes a difference. It gives you a little extra pep in your step.
You had 6 sacks, and it was 6 different guys, and every time I looked up, it was a different defensive lineman. You guys have talked about your depth all year up front. How much did that come into play in this game?
Yeah, didn't hide the fact that we knew Memphis schematically held the football a little longer in their drop-back passes than maybe the previous opponents, so we might have more opportunity. Full disclosure, I came in the defensive line room on Thursday before we boarded the plane, and I walked in and I said, hey, y'all need to take this freaking game over. This is your game. Y'all can win the game. You don't need the DBs to play well to win the game up front. The DBs need the D-line's help sometimes. The D-linemen, whose help they need? Their own. Help yourself. Go play well. And they did, and I was proud of them. It's a deep group. When you're deep, you can play a lot of people and stay fresh. I think the guys competed really well up there. We've stopped the run game decent the last couple weeks. Sometimes by the way a team plays the game, they may limit your opportunities to create negative play as a pass rusher. The team we're getting ready to play, FAU, does a phenomenal job of getting the ball out, kind of running you side to side, and then taking shots where you would maybe have time, but you don't really feel like you have time because you're not sure what's happening next. They do a great job of kind of keeping you off of your rush rhythm, if you will. But our front was in good rush rhythm. And then when you get a lead, you're up by what we were up. It doesn't mean the team can't run the ball, but they have to become a little bit more predictable pass in certain scenarios.
Saw Sam Howard out there today. Is you think he's going to be good to go at this point, or is it too early to tell for the game? And
he was limited in practice today. Mm-hmm. He'll probably have some limitations tomorrow. He did last week too. I would say I'm probably going to have to, on the availability report, list him as questionable because the way the conference rules are, our rules, they're either out for the game, out for the season, they're questionable, or they're available. Well, the questionable thing is if you've missed any practice time 3 days before the game, well, I'm probably going to hold him some reps. So I got to probably list him as questionable. I'm hopeful he can play, but I think we're all questionable, you know what I mean, every day.
And it wasn't the same injury?
No, so it was not the same injury, no. If it was the same injury, he'd probably be out for the year. It was just sort of like a bruise, kind of like I got startled because, what's been bothering me popped up. It's been an image. There's nothing that's new, that's substantial, that's going to withhold him. It's as much about pain tolerance and him being able to be effective.
And is Gerard Henderson's injury as serious?
Gerard's pretty significant. Yeah, it's going to be a little while.
When you look at an offense like FAU and, you've played fast offenses, but they lead the nation in offensive pace, how do you try to match that? Do you try to slow it down on offense or almost match their pace?
Yeah, I think you just try to maximize your opportunities anytime you play the game on offense. We won't change a ton. You know, when you're playing a team, like it's the opposite of, say, playing Army. You play Army and, you know, hey, they want there to be 6 possessions the entire game. So you may want to go a little faster offensively. These guys go so fast that we're not going to go as fast as them. Like, that's just not who we are. We'll still have some tempo things that we always do every week. Our character, our DNA, our demeanor, personality, if you will, is changing tempos. You know, go fast, go slow, go somewhere in the middle, and change it up. They're just, like, fast a lot. And so the biggest challenge in that is just making sure guys get their cleats set and their eyes set on what it needs to be from their work. Make sure they all are playing the same defense. You know, I use this adage a lot, like if we're all wrong, we're all right on defense. Like if we have a bad call, but everybody's playing the bad call at the same time, it can be an okay call. If you're trying to get the perfect call, man, somebody may miss the check or something. It's like, that's a bad call then, you know. So there's some challenges they present, but how it affects our offense, you know, I think the biggest thing is they put a ton of points up. And so you've got to be prepared to, like, score. We can't settle for field goals.
And something that was obvious is it looked like Jake just had a lot of time to throw in that pocket on Friday. I mean, just seeing the O-line come together at this time, and he talked about it in the post-game show, how important is that for the offense?
Yeah, it's been cool to see. You know, that group's, I think, played relatively well most of the year. The run game and the pass game have to complement each other to make the O-line's job easier. You know, everybody thinks, why don't you drop back pass more? Well, if you drop back pass more, then the O-line's job gets harder, if that's all you do. So running the football helps the O-line's pass protection. Receivers running good routes helps the O-line's pass protection. The quarterback getting the ball on time helps the O-line's pass protection. It's a lot that goes into helping them. But that group's playing really good. Coach McKissick, K-Ray, Logan Self, those guys do a great job coaching that room. That group's got maturity in it. You know, I've made head and shied away from the fact that we don't have a ton of returning stars back. The 2 we do have on offense are our left tackle and left guard. We need them to play well every week. And then Jack Hollyfield starting at center. He's a veteran, you know, a senior transfer. And then Jordan Hall's been playing right guard, a senior transfer, veteran player. And then you got Reese Baker over there who's not shaven yet, but a youngster who's playing good football.
You mentioned FAU's passing game. Caden, I believe, is second in the league in yards. When you see him on film, like, what's allowed him to have so much success?
Well, he's a big, strong-arm guy. He can make every throw on the field. He can drive it down the field. He's accurate in the intermediate and quick game. Gets the ball out on time. Good decision maker. Has good weapons. Like, these 2 slot receivers they got are as good as anybody I think we've seen all year. And so there's a ton of challenges to them, but he's a really good player. I mean, he had a great year at Western Kentucky last year, and it's a similar offensive system that he was in there to what he's in now. And man, he's a good runner too. He's a better runner, I think, probably than recognized. He kind of comes alive in certain situations in the game as a runner. But man, he can wing it. He's got a real big time arm and is comfortable with what they're doing with him.
With the question of rat poison, and you mentioned just how competitive this conference is, but human nature is we played a ranked team, we beat a ranked team, we're not playing a ranked team, right? How have you liked the way that your team has matured, like, as this season has gone on, even in last week, to, like, handle something like that?
Yeah, I think you're constantly reinforcing who you are as a team and the culture of your program by what you encourage or by what you allow. And if we allow guys to get comfortable, then we're going to get our butts kicked in a lot of games. And if we're urgent and we work our tails off, then we got a chance to win a lot of games. It's who we are. It's what it is. And so anytime you ever start to feel like a previous result gives you a right to a future result, good luck. Like, what's done they don't go out the coin toss and go, all right, this team's record is this team's record is that. You'll have the better record, you win. They go, hey, there's 15 minutes on the clock in the first quarter, put the ball down and play. There's 15 minutes in the second quarter, there's 15 minutes in the third quarter, there's 15 minutes in the fourth quarter, and you got to go earn it. And so this team is constantly evolving, maturing, growing. It's a never-ending process.
One more for me, if you don't mind. The UTSA game had a very up-tempo, get the ball out real fast. And this guy, from what I was looking at, he gets it out even faster.
He gets it quick, yeah.
So did that help? Is that going to help the way you can prepare for FAU?
Yeah, I mean, they're different structurally. UTSA is more of a 12 personnel team. UTSA is a run-first team, typically in nature with their back, and this is a different type of offense. But yeah, there's some components to, like, the ball's out a lot. Like some of their throws are extensions of the run game, right? So like they throw the ball some, and it's kind of like a run play, if you will, because they're not driving down the field. Now they will throw the ball down the field too, plenty, but they're not. They're efficient getting the ball out to make sure that the quarterback doesn't take a bunch of shots and doesn't put the ball in jeopardy. And like I said, they'll throw enough line of scrimmage or not very far downfield throws to be extensions of the run game.
What you said about Kurt Hester at the start of this, it feels like that story that you shared. I mean, doesn't sound like the norm for a coach to kind of do that when, he's about to leave and whatnot. What do you think that says about him and his character and the kind of person he was? And what do you think his legacy will be, for this program?
Yeah, like I said, Kurt, the way he operated through the coaching change from Coach Fritz to myself, I think really truly revealed what his character was. His heart was for people. His heart was for serving and investing in people. And, during that time, he was a foundational component that maybe in a time of uncertainty in so many players' lives kind of slowed some things down and made it a little bit more concrete for him. And he stayed through the bowl game, coached the bowl game. I got to spend time with him, a decent amount of time with him that month, really, and I enjoyed it. Like, I had a blast getting to spend time with him, getting to know him. And so to see that passing of the baton between him and Coach Witt in our weight room was unique and special. And I'd say, too, too often people fail to recognize the impact or influence that maybe a strength coach has in a program. Like Coach Witt, myself, Coach Fritz, and Kurt, man, you're lockstep on so many things in regards to, like, reinforcing the culture and driving home, like, hey, what are we going to be about here? And Kurt was really kind of the gatekeeper for, like, this is how we're going to operate. And he elevated, I think he helped redefine what Tulane football was. Like I said, the year before he got here, it was a 2-win team. Kurt showed up. Willie made a great hire in Kurt. Kurt shows up, and, man, wow, this program ever since Kurt's arrival has been in pretty good footing. And it's a lot to do with him kind of redefining what the work standards were going to look like in the weight room from a toughness and a gritty standpoint. And so it's been neat to see. And we have a ton of players. Like I talked about Kurt to our team, and we have a ton of guys that – not a ton. We got a handful of guys, honestly, now that played here when Kurt was coaching. But what I told the guys that didn't play here when Kurt was coaching, I said, what y'all don't realize is, like, the groundwork that Coach Hester laid, y'all are still feeling some of the remnants of his investment. And so, because he did invest in the lives of Bailey Despaney, Bryce Bohannon, Shadre Hurst, some guys that have been critical people in this program. And so he helped grow those guys as players and as men, and his impact here will live on. Good? Thank y'all. Appreciate it.